got the heater on. So it's brilliant having my little inverter and the new lithium ion battery in here. Just allows you I only run it for 3 minutes and it just keeps the van warm, and then the insulation of the van keeps it warm enough then. But oh yeah, it's really cold today. Not freezing, but it is really cold, and it's been quite warm for the winter so far. So the change in temperature has been quite a bit to deal with. So anyway, I've got this oar ready to go, and I've also got this ready to go. I'm hoping I can use this line somehow to tie around the paddle as well, just to stop it sinking if it does sink. And that is my little Wi-Fi sender, my Wi-Fi depth sounder or fish finder. What I'm going to do is I've got to install the app for that on my phone, so I'm going to go and do that now, and then we shall go outside and give them both a whirl. You can see the little canal lock kind of here. We'll be able to do it in there. So I'm going to sort of try and take you through a little bit with this app. When you install an app, if we go to the app that this requires and you go online, let's just hang on a minute, about this app, you'll see it's quite Chinesey, but what you do, you go in about this app, and if you scroll down you'll see app permissions. Now if you choose more, in here it tells you all the app permissions that the app is asking of Android. Now I know this app is pretty safe because all it's asking for are things like Wi-Fi, network connections, change network connection. It's not asking for anything more than managing, viewing, or connecting to a Wi-Fi connection. And that's like the only things that the app is going to be doing inside and when it interacts with my phone. And it uses Wi-Fi to connect to the little this thing anyway. Now, if you download an app from the Play Store or the Apple Store, is it iStore, then generally those apps are pretty safe. However, you have to be careful of two things. The first thing is, if you go in this About Us, for instance, all this is doing is sending the depth and a bit more over Wi-Fi to the app on my phone. Now, if the app needed permissions like read contacts, camera access, photos access, essentially what you could be doing is giving that app access to those things, and it could be then sending them over the internet to somebody else. It's that simple. Now, usually Google would not allow that app in the Play Store. They do check apps, but occasionally the odd one gets through. The exception to this is that if you download the app from a website and you install it manually, then they can do what they want. So you have to be very trusting when you do that. The other thing you need to be very careful of is app updates. What often will happen is the app will install with minimum permissions, and then will have its own built-in internal update process which will bang all those permissions in. Now, if your phone is set up, you've got a relatively new version of Android, it will usually pop up and tell you, do you want to give access to this? And you can either say no, never, or this one time, things like that. But just be very careful of downloading apps, especially when they're from, unknown sources or uncredible sources. And by the way, the worst apps you can download are things from Facebook. They literally take everything you have on the phone and they go use it and they feed it into their Facebook algorithm. And for those of you that don't know, Facebook don't just own Facebook. They own WhatsApp and they own Instagram. So you have any of them installed on your phone, whether you use them or not, and you're giving up a lot of data that you might not want to that company. So it doesn't have to be some unknown Chinese company in the middle of nowhere. Some of the big names in the world are taking all our data from us. And I know this because I'm a software guy. So anyway, that said, I'm now going to set this up to link, and I'll come back to you when I've done that, because I'm sure you don't want to see me fiddle about old. You can see it comes up here. I'm going to try and show you as best as I can. Privacy policy, okay, you have to agree to that. And it looks like you just click a start button. Let's do operation mode. Okay, so what I think we've got to do is this uses Wi-Fi, not Bluetooth. So it will use point-to-point Wi-Fi. So we switch it on and we'll put the cap back on. And then what I'm looking for is the Wi-Fi, and I'm sure it'll be something to do with this code. So you go to your Wi-Fi settings, press and hold, and it's now looking for any Wi-Fi network. There we go, Fish Finder 1. I assume it's that. And the password is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Connect. Now that does what's called like a direct or point-to-point connection for this. It's not like the same as your Wi-Fi to your router. So what it will do is it will take your Wi-Fi internet connection away from you, and it will tell you this. So it pops up, says, you know, do you want to connect? I'm going to click connect this time because it can auto connect when this switches on, and you might not want that. So there we are. We're now connected to the Wi-Fi. I'm now going to go back to the app, and let's do language selection. Make sure it's in English. The next thing we're going to do, let's have a little look at parameters. In here, we've got sensitivity, depth range, zoom range off, shallow alarm off, fish ID on, fish alarm, LMS, chart speed, and then unit. I've got mine in meters and degrees C. That looks okay for a test, doesn't it? We don't want to put it in demonstration mode. Let's do operation mode, and look, it's now loaded up. So all we now got to do is go and dip this in the water, see if it works. So I'm using the bag that it came with, and it does do up really tight, and then the bag has a hook on it. I just got a bow line and this line here. I doubt that's going to fall out the bag for a little test at least anyway. But I think I've shown you in a previous video, I made a little 3D printed case for it, which I'm hoping I can either connect to the boat somehow permanently, or it will just give me a slightly better way of dangling this over the side, you know. No doubt this little bag's, you know, it's neoprene, but it might not last too long, especially in the sea. Right, let's go brave the weather, and let's go and see if we can, if it works, I guess. Whoa, it's blooming cold. So look, we've got the bridge we can use to maybe get various depths, but we've also got this little ramp. There is a ramp here, but it has broken. Such a shame, isn't it, really? So we can probably get, yeah, we can start to sort of work out some depths here. So I've got the app up. It's not really showing much at the moment. First thing we're going to do is just chuck it in, see what happens. So it should float, I get, yeah, and there we go, it floats. So let's have a look. Tells you how much the battery has got left, and also the wireless settings there. I think it's got a temperature there, but it's definitely not 14 degrees. So let's just go back and see if it will reload. We'll just pop it out there. Let's see what happens. Oh, the temperature's dropping now. And you can see, yeah, I'm not sure. Let's go in the parameters. We'll do sensitive, we'll put the sensitivity up to 4. Depth range, let's just do 10 meters, and let's see what that does. So actually the depth is here, look. It should go up. So this would indicate we are deeper than 45. Now, you know the reason for that, I think, is that this is on the side and it's the Wi-Fi shooting out that way. So if we were to do that, let's just do that. Nope, okay, not working. That's interesting. Let's give it another go. So it's just staying on 45, if you can see, and that's what it was doing before. So what it should do is this, look, I'm going to show you the demo. So you can see that's the depth. So as that's actually the bottom. So you can see this is 0 depth at the top. Your boat would be there, maybe a little bit more. And then you can set up alarm. Oh, beg your pardon. So there you go. You can see it. And that actually maps out the bottom. So 0 is up here. And then you can set various alarms for fish and depth, things like that. And that's actually how it should work. So, yeah, that's not happening for me. So, let's see. No, it's just not working, is it? Look, that should be saying it's really close to the floor. And it's behaving exactly the same way as when it was in the water. I'm going to give it one more go in the water and see. It's now working. It must be, and I'm being an idiot, aren't I? These must need, the sensors obviously send sonar down and then receive it. If it's in a bag, it's not going to work, is it? It needs to be unobstructed. So that little bag must be just for keeping it safe when you're not using it. If we look now, oh, we can't see that. So if we look now, you'll see that when I put it in the water and just let it float, immediately, there we go, it's saying 0, which it is pretty much. There's about 10 centimetres down there. And now it works. So that's brilliant news. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and put that little 3D printed plastic piece I've got for it on. And then we'll get a thinner line put on it, and then we'll give it a test again. So here's a little sort of case I made, and it's got a little cutout there. I think it could probably go either way, and it slots in there nicely and clicks in, and then the top just goes on the top, and then we've got some screws that screw in from various directions, and I need that little screwdriver here. I've just left it on because it'd be a good test of the battery anyway. And then we just need to screw this back up quickly to secure it. Right, problem solved, I think. So, we're going to give this another go. Let's show you. Let's just show you what we've done. We've got the little case back on, and it leaves obviously those sensors open. I've put a little bit of line on there because the hole's not big enough for this, and just clip that together. So we've got big long line. This I haven't disconnected from my phone yet. So lo and behold, let's go and have a look. Yeah, lo and behold, it connects up and works straight away. So I think what I did when I connected it up via Wi-Fi that first time, and I said, yes, I'm only going to do this once, I think when I disconnected and reconnected, it then wouldn't allow any traffic. So that's the problem. I need to do it every time on there. So here we go. So this isn't sensing anything yet. It needs to be in the water to sense. So if I kind of unravel this, and let's get you over there. Let's try and just get this in and show you what happens. So there we go, she floats up the right way, and then you can see, look on there, all of a sudden we've got readings now, which is brilliant. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go on this bridge. Right, let's put it over there. There we go. Now you can see it's got a shackle on it at the moment, so it's just getting dragged down. If you were to lift that up, look, it would float. Right, so for some reason it's actually now floating the other way. So let's have a little look. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, so when it does that, so here we go. So you can see it now, look, working. We're at 1 metre there. And then this range thing will automatically adjust if you want it to. Or what we can do, look, we can do these parameters now. We can do depth range. Let's do it from 10 meters. And then we can also get a shallow alarm at 1. Let's leave it at that. Oh, there we go. That's because we're under 1. And then let's move it to the side. See what happens now. I mean, we're in... Oh, there you go, look. And then as it goes to the side, insufficient depth. Don't like that little confirm button, but there we go. And as we move back over here, there we go. It's getting bigger and bigger. You can see the battery's gone down a little bit, but it has been on for about, I think, 2 hours now in total. And there we go. So that works really well, doesn't it? I'm really chuffed with that. I'm going to now put this phone away and bring it up. This, I don't know how clean this water is in here, but it was a bit grotty down the other way. When you're finished with it, all you have to do is unscrew it, switch it off, and screw that back up, and it's watertight again. So that's brilliant, isn't it? So that's going to give me a really good Wi-Fi based way of getting the depth. Now, it will give you a really good lead line ad hoc style way of doing it, and it'll be much better than the lead line, because this will float when we're moving. But the other thing we might be able to do is leave it on, you know, for long periods of time. I'm hoping it will last 5 or 6 hours, so it will give you some really good you know, time to sort of just use on a whole cruise, and you can charge it up overnight. Yeah, really good actually. What would be better is if, instead of having the profile, the app itself was able to just give you a meter reading. But you know, hey, you can't have it all. This is brilliant as well, because you don't have to drill any holes in the hull, connect it up to power or anything. So I'm really chuffed with it. So one last thing to do today with this is to see if we can connect it to the boat, like in a more permanent way. So we'll do that, and then I think, yeah, this is one project that's been a real success. Right, the other thing we've got here is the paddle, and I've got it hooked up to a line, and we're going to see if it floats, which I don't think it is going to float. But that end, let's see. Let's have a look. Well, what do you know? It actually floats. We'll leave it there for a few minutes to see if it'll fill up with water and then sink, a bit like the mast on the mirror. Let's have a look. Is it sinking slowly? Let's see. It is, isn't it? Look at the paddle. So it is sinking slowly, but let's see if it sort of balances out and stays afloat. Oh, there it goes. So let's, yeah, it's gone. There you go. Okay, let's pull that out. So it floats because of the air inside the tubes, but once that tube fills up with water, obviously it then oh god, I'm just getting sprayed with water here. It then there we go. So as soon as that fills with water, it'll sink. I guess it doesn't sink when it's connected to the other paddle, because there's no holes. There's a seal in this connector here. So that's interesting. I think one way we could resolve this is put a little float of some nature on this side, little airbag or something, and that would be this side sorted. So yeah, maybe that's something we can maybe look to do, get a float of some nature. I'll see if I can find something now that would work, but we might need to put some kind of foam handle or something. So something that maybe could attach quite quickly to the end. It would only have to be push on, wouldn't it? Or maybe a little bit of foam would just stop that from sinking. I don't know. We'll have to see. So it did give you about 20 seconds, didn't it? Before it sort of started to sink, which is quite hopeful. You know, that would give you ample time. The other idea is, you know, if you've got a line on it like this, we could put a little line through here, through the hole on the other side. You could technically just have a line connected. You could connect the oars together in the middle maybe, you know, and just make them so, you know, or connect them to something. Just, you know, what we don't want is them slipping out and then we lose them forever. So that was good. In the last video, the boat was quite dry, but this one, it's not so dry. And the reason for that is these bungs are in here. So if I remove these bungs that stop the water going into the transom locker, you'll see that, well, it's coming out of the keel band hole there, but it'll also come out of the bung. So we just need to get rid of this water if possible. I'll just put that bung in here. Right, the reason we've got this floorboard up is because of this. Let me reach behind here. Here I've got a load of paraphernalia that is to connect up this bilge pump. Now, this is the smallest bilge pump I could certainly find. It's the Whale Supersub 650. They do a Whale Supersub 500 and they do 1,000. And I think the 500 and the 650 are the same size, so I may as well go for the 650. It's a bit more powerful, and the 1,000's a bit bigger. They also do yellow versions of these, which are auto. They've got a built-in auto switch, I think. But for me, I just wanted the ability to flick a switch and switch this bilge pump on. Now, I'm just going to wait for the boat to sort of empty, because little washer, keep picking these little washers and nuts up. The reason for that is I just want to not submerge it if I don't have to at this point. But what we need to do is work out where this is gonna go. Now, unlike the bilge pump, where all the gubbins is in the bilge pump under here, and then the end of the tube is just I think called it a strum. I made my own strum by drilling through the hose. This, all the gubbins is here, and then you lead the hose back to you know, to your, what is it called, this thing here, which is called the skin fitting. Now, this is identical to the one I've got on the boat so far. So you'll see, there we go, there's the one for the current bilge pump. This is slightly smaller because the hose we're going to use is going to be a little bit smaller as well. So if you look at the size of the hose there, that's inch. This is 3/4, I think. Substantially smaller, but we don't need it that big. So I don't know why I did it that big on this bilge pump really, but there we go. So this hose is ready to go with the boat. Well, the first thing we've got to think about with this is how forward or aft is it going to be. Now, when I did my bilge pump, and I got some really good advice from the Pettigrew's website, where he redoes his bilge pump, what he says is you should put your bilge pump further up. So I think the bilge end of the pipe or hose ends roughly where this is here, underneath there. So that's where the boat sits. Now, I've had too many occasions where I've bilge pumped my boat dry, and there's still a load of water back here. So, and sometimes I can't even get it dry. So I think we need to have this bilge pump a little bit further back. You have to remember on the trailer right now, so we are tipped back a little bit. And it's designed to do that because you want to drain it like we're doing exactly now. But I think we need to think about putting this a bit further back. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure this is on the other side of the boat. So when we're heeling, we've got a bilge pump one side and a bilge pump the other side. So it will naturally be on the other side. What I didn't realise was that when you're bilge pumping and you're sat on this side to windward, the boat is going to heel that way. So you've got access to the handle here, but the boat, all the water's gone over that side. But we can't really do anything today because we can't fiberglass. We can't do anything like that. It's too cold. So there we go. That's the thought of the day. So I think we are finished for today. What would be good to do is to come back maybe tomorrow and just very briefly try and get these wooden battens tacked up to something, and from that we can then make our little jig. And then what I'm hoping is with screws and tacks we can make something rudimentary that will just about hold together here, and then we could probably take it home and fiberglass it in the office, you know, or something like that. Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But anyway, yeah, I think that's all we've got time for today, really. Time to go home. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week.